What passing bells for these who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns. Only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty orisons.
Only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty orisons.
Britten combined the poetry of Wilfred Owen, who was perhaps the greatest of all First World War poets, with the words of the Latin Requiem Mass. His aim was to honour the dead and to provide a moment of national reflection on war and the pity of war. The Requiem Mass is an ancient text. It's a mass for the dead. The word requiem means peace, and it's quoted in the first lines of the Requiem Mass. Requiem aeternam dona eis Domine. Lord, grant them eternal rest, they being the dead.
When you read Owen's poetry, it is so perfect. It is emotion distilled and it speaks for itself. It's already emotive, and adding music to it just makes it all the more powerful.
We went to the Southbank Centre, where we went to the poetry library. We explored the Latin Mass and Wilfred Owen's poetry.
In those days, didn't have TV. Radio was, I don't think radio was around, so it was all through newspapers. Poetry was actually a way of getting messages out about what was happening sometimes.
Let's say that this is the backdrop to our piece. This is what informs the piece. This is what the piece is about. It's about war. It's about the images of war, the emotions of war, the ideas of war. What I'd like you to do is to try and guess as best you can. You have a couple of clues, what you think the order of these is, what you think might be the first one, and lay them out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 along the sheet. What you're looking at here is effectively an overview, bird's view, of the big 1.5 hour work. That is, its backdrop, its images, its tone, its ideas are about war, but it's structured into 6 sections which are from the Requiem Mass. What he does then is, in between these, he puts some of the Wilfred Owen poems. In fact, what he does is, in every single one of these sections, he puts 1 Wilfred Owen poem, except for this one, where he puts 4, because it's the longest.
The unique thing about the way the text works in the War Requiem is that Benjamin Britten uses the Latin Requiem Mass and then the poems of Wilfred Owen to provide a kind of direct window onto the experience of death in war.
I think Benjamin Britten used Wilfred Owen's poems because Wilfred Owen actually fought in the war, which meant that his pacifism and his views on war could have been justified because he'd actually been there.
I think that Wilfred Owen wanted to show that the ideology of war is wrong.
Owen has several messages in his poetry, but I think for me the overriding one is anger. He wants to tell people and speak on behalf of the dead just how pointless war is. He started off by joining up out of duty, but he changed his viewpoint later on to see the futility of war and ultimately how pointless war was.